Hey there, it's Casey Dimon, and welcome to the Tax Sell Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about how to get tax sell ready in less than 30 days. Now, let me be very upfront with you. I'm not a huge fan of the promises people make. You'll be ready for your first deal in 7 days, or you'll be rich in 30 days, or whatever it is. I just don't like that stuff. Why? Because they set unrealistic expectations. You don't control the auction schedule, what properties are available, how much competition shows up, or even whether the deals that come up make sense for you or are even profitable. But here's what you can control: your readiness. You can absolutely get yourself into a position in less than 30 days where you're ready to act the moment the right opportunity comes up. That means that you understand the process, you know your market, you've practiced your research, you've got your criteria, you've got your max bid amounts, and when the right property shows up, you are ready to move. You're ready to take action. They'll produce some nice profits for you. That's what we're covering today. The path to be tax sell ready in less than 30 days, even if you are starting from scratch. Let's get right to it. Week number 1, what you must do is learn the fundamentals of the tax sell business. It's all about building the foundation. You don't need to be an expert on every state or every law that's out there, but you do need to understand the basic. You might want to start with the difference between tax liens and tax deeds. Liens are debt instruments where you typically earn interest, and deeds, you're actually buying tax foreclosed real estate. And I got episodes going into much more detail on this, but decide which one you want to focus on, or maybe you want to focus on a combination. Then dig into your state statutes and review a few counties in the area that you're thinking about investing in. Those state statutes, those rules, those guides, is kind of going to be your playbook to help guide you through this process. Look how the auctions are run. Is there a redemption period there? Do you need to register in advance? Are the sales online, or are they in person? Learn about those auctions. Spend this week watching videos, reading official county documents, going through the frequently asked questions page on the county tax collector's website. And if you're inside the academy, of course, go through the beginner module. Sign up for the 30-day challenge. Get to learning. You need to learn before you do anything else. By the end of week 1, hopefully you know what kind of investor you want to be, whether it's liens, deeds, or a combination. Hopefully you understand the general process and that you're comfortable explaining how your state's systems work. That's going to be week 1. That's more of a learning type week. The second week, you need to study markets and kind of build a target list. Once you have that foundational knowledge, it's time to start studying individual counties. Start with your state or the state that you're interested in most, and identify a few counties that fit your budget, that offer the types of properties that you want to invest in, these specific product types like vacant land, homes, that kind of stuff, and that hold regular auctions or have an upcoming auction in the next month or two, say. Go back and look at previous auction list results if they're available. Study the types of properties that are sold. Look at opening bid amounts compared to what the properties actually sold for. That will help you understand how competitive a county is, what kind of properties often show up at those auctions, and if there are any great opportunities that might be hiding. You can also start tracking upcoming auction dates so you can time your research and practice. So by the end of week 1, you learn all the process. End of week 2, you kind of have a short list of counties that you want to focus on, or at least that you're initially interested in. You should know when the next auction is, and you should have reviewed the previous auction results to make sure it's an area that you do want to invest in based on whether it's going to be profitable or not. And you need, of course, to understand the auction process. Now we're to week number 3, and this is where you're going to practice your due diligence. Now, all the stuff that you learn in week 1, combined with everything you learn from week 2, just by getting familiar with the auction setting, it's time to dig into that information. It's time to get hands-on. Pull the most recent auction list from one of the counties. Even if the auction already happened, it does not matter. You're using it for practice. Start researching properties just like you were going to actually buy those properties. So learn everything you can about the properties. You can also do this with the property that maybe that you live in, or a property that you are super familiar with, because what you're trying to do here is you're trying to compare what you see online to what you actually see in real life. Those words and the data on a screen mean one thing, but how do you take that and compare it to what you see in the real world? You need to check for things like access, road frontage, easements, look at the zoning of the property, use GIS, Google Earth, county maps, pull your comps, estimate values, check for red flags like landlocked properties or environmental type issues. Your goal is to learn how to perform due diligence. And oftentimes what I find is those terms I just said, or as you start, going into the process, it might bring more questions than answers. And that's okay, because it gives you stuff that you can then refocus on, that you can start learning on. This is kind of even when you can take it a step farther if you want to. Search the official records, the official documents for liens, notice of commencements, or any weird deed history, stuff like that. A lot of people skip that part, but it can really help out in the scheme of things. Go through this process for 10, 20, 30, 50 properties, however much you have time for. The more familiar you get with this process, the more accurate your due diligence is, the better investor you're going to be. By the end of this week, you should feel very comfortable evaluating a property from a tax sale list, and you should also get more and more efficient with that process. That's when things really start clicking. Week number 4, prepare to execute. At this point, you got the knowledge, you've studied the market, and you've practiced your research. You've learned how to do due diligence. Now it's time to get auction ready. If one of your target counties has a sale coming up, register, fund your account, perform your due diligence, making sure it's extremely thorough. Create your short list of properties that you want to bid on. Set your max bid amounts, because if there's a deal that pops up, you'll be ready to pull the trigger. This is also the week to start working on and thinking about how you're going to be marketing and selling the properties. Perhaps, this means that you need to start researching good realtors to work on. You maybe need to think about building a buyer's list or a website or whatever else you have in mind. And here's the key mindset for this week. You don't have to buy anything. It's not about buying right now, but you should be ready to buy if that perfect deal shows up. And then, of course, ongoing after those 30 days are up, your job is to stay sharp and continue learning. Continue to review auction lists weekly. Add more and more counties. Expand, because that expansion into other counties and potentially other states will allow your income to grow. Attend online or in-person sales and keep practicing, keep learning, keep studying the market behavior. Consistency is what turns readiness into results. Now listen, I am not promising that you will close your first deal in 30 days. That depends a lot on factors that you and I cannot control. But I promise you this, if you follow this plan, you'll be in a position to take action the moment the right deal presents itself. You'll be informed, you'll be confident, and you'll be added to 90% of the people who are still thinking about getting started. The truth is, this is a very, very quick breakdown of everything you need to do to be ready in less than 30 days. There's lots and lots of moving parts. There's lots and lots of little tiny details that you need to learn about in each one of these steps. If you're serious about getting tax already in less than 30 days and you want the tools and the trainings that we offer to shortcut the process, make sure you check us out at taxsaleacademy.com. We will walk you through this process. You can also join our 30-day challenge. Listen, hopefully this has provided somewhat of an outline, or at least things that will help you get started in this business. Week 1, again, learn what you are doing. Please don't skip that step. So many people want to skip that step, and that's the most important thing. After that, begin to study the markets. Build a target list of areas that you want to invest in. After that, practice due diligence. So important. And then after that, prepare to execute. Again, lots of little tiny details in each one of those, but that gives you the framework of what you need to do in order to be tax ready in less than 30 days. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Tax Sale Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode or any of the episodes that we offer on the podcast, please do me a huge favor. If you're watching on YouTube, click that thumbs up button and subscribe to us. If you are listening to us on a podcasting platform, do me a favor, leave a 5-star review and even leave a positive feedback comment if you so desire, because it really helps us out in the algorithm world. Guys, thank you so much. And again, taxsaleacademy.com if we can be of further assistance. Take care and make it a successful day. Bye-bye.